On this episode of Shannon Ayers Speaks, we will be talking to the beautiful Yvette Nicole Brown, who is the host of the new show on Disney Plus, The Big Fib. She also wrote, produced, and starred in Always a Bridesmaid. She was the star of Community. She was on Drake and Josh. She was on Dear White People. There's so many things that this beautiful lady has accomplished. We are looking forward to having a great, fabulous sit-down talk on defining beauty, loving me. So, Hello Beautiful presents Miss Yvette Nicole Brown. We want to welcome Miss Yvette Nicole Brown to Hello Beautiful. It is so awesome to have you here. Thank you.
Happy to be here, sis. Thanks for having me. Make sure my vote shows.
Oh no, this is please. Yes, we gotta represent. Yes, love it.
Yeah.
You look
How you doing?
As always.
Oh, thank you so much. I had the cast of Community did a charity event, and it was one of those things where once you win the auction, you get a Zoom call with the cast. So we did that like maybe 20 minutes ago. So I was like, let me put on a little lip and a lash so I can look nice for the winner and for Hello Beautiful. So yeah.
Oh, right. Like as if you had to do a whole lot, really?
Girl, listen, I posted a picture today on Instagram of me without it. Trust, I had to do a little bit of work, but we're here.
I won't talk because as women, we are harder on ourselves than what other people see us as.
That's true. That's
true.
And
just because of that, I'm going to start us off with a quote from my son.
Okay.
15-year-old son about you.
About me? What? First of all, how you got a 15-year-old son when you look 12 yourself? But go on.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me.
You know black don't crack. I ain't got to tell you what you already know. All right. What'd your son say? What's his name?
So much fun.
What's his name?
His name is Marlon, but we call him MJ.
Hey, MJ. What did MJ say?
MJ. So my kids, anytime I'm going to interview somebody, I always ask my kids about them because I'm just curious what the young people say about the people I'm going to talk to. And so when I said Yvette Nicole Brown, my son was like, wait, I know her.
Oh.
So I said, well, what do you think about her? So this is his quote. So I had to write it down.
Okay.
Said, oh, I love her. She's everything. She is one of those people who may appear in a show only one or two times, but you want to see more of her. Aww. She makes me laugh. She is like a bright light.
Oh, are you sure you didn't tell him about Halle Berry?
Listen. You got to understand my kids. Now, we know Halle Berry is beautiful, and it's not to take anything away from her, but you would be surprised. Kids don't look through Hollywood's eyes.
That's true.
All the time. I mean, they may get into Twittersville and social media, but when you're really just home, just being home, you don't have to impress the friends because you can't impress your family.
That's true. I know it. Don't I? Well, you tell MJ I said thank you. That was lovely. And honestly, to hear that, first of all, I think kids are really honest. I host a show about kids and called The Big Fib. Plug that right quick. But it's an opportunity for kids to figure out who the liar is between two people. And kids always know, they see the soul of a person, they get to it. So anytime a kid gives me a compliment, any compliment, I'm like, that's true because they don't lie. They don't lie. So
they don't. Now, this is the same kid from, I would say, about the age of 2, fell in love with Whoopi Goldberg.
See what I mean?
Love him some Whoopi.
The spirit. He knows a good spirit because Whoopi's good people. That's wonderful. Please tell him thank you.
I most certainly will. But I am so excited. Thank you for agreeing to sit down with me because I know you are a busy lady. You always have stuff going on. You are probably one of the most familiar faces, I would say, in terms of women of color on television. I have seen you around for many years, including your commercials. Yes. And so I understand what my son means when he says, she's one of those people that, because even in doing my research on you, you may start off with having, 1 or 2 lines here or there, but then before you know it, it's like, okay, stay a while.
You know what? It's funny. Those of us in the industry, we it's changing now, thank God. There's more opportunities for people of color. But when I started 20 years ago, there were only Diane Amos was in commercials with natural hair at the time. And there weren't, I didn't see a pathway for me. I'm a fuller figured person. My hair was wild and crazy and big and wonderful. And I just didn't know that I could make a way. And so you take the little bits that you get and you try to cobble them together to make something that can look like a career a few years down the line. So you learn to make a meal,
Yeah.
out of an eyebrow raise or a grunt, so it's amazing that I'm still here. And I'm honored that your son at 15 knows who I am, because I started working before he was even born.
Yes.
And then to, leave a sweet taste in someone's mouth and not them see your name and go, oh, that old bird. Right. You know what I mean? Like, for a baby to say that I'm a light, that means I'm doing something right. So yeah.
He said you were a bright light.
Bright light. Thank you.
And I mean, that to me is even more special than just being a light.
I agree.
And it's not to, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
To hear a 15-year-old say that, and if you know my son, he is very cynical. And
I'd like him. He's sarcastic too, and I can feel it. He's got a sarcastic spirit that's on him. I know it. I love that spirit. It's a sweet spirit. Don't you tear that spirit down.
Yes.
Intelligence.
Because I know where he gets it from.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Oh, but I love it. I love it. I wanted to sit down and interview you. There are a few people. I mean, of course, there are a lot of celebrities that are out there, but there are a few people that I see that I think resonate a little bit more. There are some actors and actresses that are very good at what they do, but you have a few that you can see who they are through their lines, if you know what I mean.
I do.
See their personality. And I haven't been too off yet, because, you see people on TV, then you see them in interviews, or you see them in kind of, off the cuff kind of natural moments. And sometimes you like them more, and sometimes you like them less.
Right.
But from your commercials, from everything that I've seen you in, you're always true to form. So it's either you're an extraordinary actress, both on and off the screen.
I am not on screen or off. I am not.
No, but what you have is that thing that resonates with a lot of people.
Thank you.
And so, especially women, and not just women of color, but as one woman of color to another one, it resonates with me, which is one of the reasons why I started Hello Beautiful. We say that Hello Beautiful, is to encourage women and girls to understand their beauty by design and know their worth.
That's right.
And so that's the foundation of Hello Beautiful. And to me, you personify that.
Thank you.
Because you can take your lashes off, you can take your lips off, you can take your hair off, you can take everything off. And when you see the naked that's the person that we want to see.
That's true.
That's the person that inspires us. That's the 100%. Person that encourages us. You're beautiful with or without, being made up or whatever. Yes. But that's the person that resonates. And to me, that's what Hello Beautiful is about.
I love it.
I target people like you to sit down and talk with for my audience. It was just like when I interviewed Kelly Price. I still get messages and emails and notes, and some people calling me up crying because there are you almost look at people on TV like they're inhuman.
Right.
And like they don't have an experience.
Right.
As a woman, I know what it's like, when you pull down the shades and it's just you with yourself. They want to know who that woman is.
Right.
Does she feel what I feel? Does she experience what I experience? Does she even know what it means, to be a woman in this body, whatever that body is?
That's right.
And to me, I think you personify all of that.
Thank you.
You do. So that's what's important. And that's why I think it's really good that women can see themselves in us.
Yeah. I really think, I've always thought that beauty on the inside always trumps what's on the outside. I know that in this industry, for sure, that's not necessarily the case. And in the world in general, that's not the case. It's, how big somebody's butt is, or, whether the waist is snatched. And I think a lot of people spend more energy on the presentation than
Yes.
they do the soul work. And I think the soul work is what embodies who you actually are. It embodies whether you'll be able to make a difference in anybody's life. Lip gloss ain't changed nobody's life.
Right.
It'll change an appearance. It'll change a moment in time, but it does not change a life. Being beautiful on the outside does not change your life in the way that matters.
Absolutely.
And you also are not going to be in a position to affect change in other people's lives just because the outside is beautiful. There has to be something that anchors you to what's real.
Yes.
And so for me, I'm sorry, I keep rubbing my nose. I'm allergic and I'm having a moment, but I feel like my goal in life, what I always try to be whether I'm working or having an interview or just in life, I try to support and be an encourager and a cheerleader for people. And I hope that that's what people feel. Yes. I love people. I love their faces. I love their personalities. I love their dreams and hopes. And I love to be there for them when they're struggling. Like I've turned my Instagram live into a place where, I never know when I'm going to go on. I'll hear God say, do a live today. And I'll just go on and I'll just pick people as their names scroll up. I'll just pick people. I don't have to know them. I just pick them. And their faces pop up and I'm like, oh, look at that sweet little face. And it's just my moment with them to talk about whatever they want to talk about, to cry together, laugh together. And it's special, and it's something that it's a community now that we've built on Instagram that, when people come in, they know it's going to be a roller coaster. We don't know what's going to happen. Somebody might sing today. Somebody might cry today. Somebody might give a bit of wisdom or biblical, a scripture or something that changes someone's trajectory. We've done some matchmaking on there, and I think that's what life can be for all of us when we get away from our stuff and ourselves and and like connect from here. Right? You got to be willing to be transparent and connect. And that's why sometimes I will, we all like to look nice, but sometimes I'll show a picture with nothing on. I'll do a live. Just woke up and God says, get on, I get on because I want to pull back the curtain and let people know that this Hollywood stuff, it's vapor. It's not real.
Sure.
This is real.
Yes.
MJ is real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what really binds us is the heart connections, not the.
Oh, I could not agree more. You mentioned singing. And as I was doing my research on you, doing an interview, and somebody had asked you about singing versus, acting, and, why didn't you continue to pursue singing?
Yeah.
And your answer to me was just true to form of what I've seen of you in terms of just the transition of music and kind of where things are now. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but just what you want to represent, as an artist. And not necessarily wanting to go certain routes. It's not to criticize or judge others.
No shame. It's never any judgment or shame. You have to know what's right for you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love music. Music is my greatest love. And I really thought my whole life, I thought that I would be a singer. And for a minute, it was looking like it was going to work out. But the industry did a shift, and it shifted away from, vocal ability and shifted more towards, you gotta be tight. You gotta be, and really back when I said goodbye, everybody was naked. It was like, everybody was like, hey, go on, flip me against the wall. And I was like, I could never, you know what I mean? And again, no judgment. I'm not judging anybody that likes to show their body. I'm not judging anybody that likes to sing about whatever they want to sing about. I just know for me, there's no way I could do it. And so that was the only lane in. There was no India Ari at the time. There was no Jill Scott at the time or Music Soul Child at the time. There wasn't even a Lauryn Hill at the time I was pursuing music. So I didn't see another way to do it besides that, aside from doing gospel. And I kind of felt like the lane that I was supposed to occupy was to bring the love of God, but do it in the secular lane. I wanted to be able to do it in a way where everybody was open to it and it wouldn't be turned off because you're saying Jesus. I want you to feel the Jesus, you know, in the songs and uplifting songs, whatever. So it didn't work out, but I also think the great lesson in that is sometimes what you think is for you may not be for you, or may not be for you in the way you think it's for you, right?
The way you have it all mapped out.
100%. And so Bruce Lee said this thing, may he rest in peace, be like water, right? So water flows and it moves and it stays on course, right? It doesn't leave the course, but if it has to go a little bit around something to get back to where it's supposed to be, it'll do that. And so I decided, you know, your music didn't like me. I loved music. Music was like, you all right. So I was like, let me not chase the thing that's cool on me. And instead, let me go towards the thing that loves me back. And acting loves me back. So even though my great love is music, I shifted, you know, and the funny thing is about it is every role I've ever played, I think I've sung. It's like eventually by episode 57, they're like, well, do you sing? Well, hey, you need to shut your mouth, open up your eyes and see that you don't know nothing, nothing about me. We're going to do an episode with you in the choir. We'll do an episode of you. Sure. So it's still there. You know,
so your gift still made room for you.
And
beautiful voice too. I mean, I hear you trying to be a little modest, and that's good. But you have an absolutely beautiful voice.
I'm okay.
So it's definitely not. And so I can say, at least from the research that I did on you and from different things that I heard, it has definitely nothing to do with talent. You know,
thank you. That's very kind.
You know, but that's a blessing within itself, that for whatever reason you can make that choice to shift, to say, you know what, this is not for me, but over here, you know, and I can still exercise my gift, but then on a bigger platform.
Yeah. And
not one dimensional.
Right. And also still be fulfilled by it. Like, I think sometimes, you know, I'm single, so I'm in the online dating world. And sometimes it feels like, well, if it's not this guy or this thing, then something's wrong. And it's like, no, you can adjust and find joy in another lane or in another form, you know, and you have to be willing to bob and weave and not be so, it's got to be this. No blessing.
Say that again, please. Our lady, need to hear it.
Come on, there's no blessing that has ever come to anyone like this. You're not getting anything from God when you're tight. You gotta you gotta release and let it flow through. I say this all the time. There should be an overflow that enough to bless you and bless others. And I think I talked to a friend of mine online, because I have a few friends that are trying to find love. And I asked her about a certain guy, and she said, oh, well, he's not tall enough for me. And I was like, God might be trying to bless you under 6 feet. Now he got to be, you know, a certain height. That might not be what your package, your mate is going to look like. And you have to be open to him maybe looking a little different than you expected. And it's okay, because the thing is, what's his heart like though?
Yes.
Like, how does he feel about you? How does he make you feel about yourself? Does he support your dreams? Like, there's some really great guys that may not look like an Adonis, right? Yeah. Who may not be tall and whatever. I just think we box ourselves in, and in our careers and in our search for love, or search to be found, however you want to look at it, we box ourselves in and we can't. And that's why I am on the online dating. I had some people go, well, you recognizable. You can't be. Yes, I can. Just because I'm recognizable doesn't mean that I don't want love. We all want love. And I don't know anybody that's found it that's like, it was a piece of cake. We all had to work.
Yes.
And so I'm out there. And if you see me on one of those sites, yes, it's me. Not always. Somebody might be catfishing, but there's other pictures you can choose. I don't think anybody's picking my pictures to catfish with. So if you see it, it's me. And say hi.
But I appreciate that transparency, especially once again, which is why I target people like you to talk to, because women need to hear this.
Yeah.
You know, as beautiful as you are, as talented as you are, you know, people, oh, well, you know what, she's in Hollywood, it's a piece of cake. And people don't realize you're still a human being.
Yeah.
And I know I had, my friends know when I was in high school, I had a list. It was a check off list of what they all had to meet, you know. As you grow older and as you mature, and it doesn't mean lowering it. I think we confuse lowering our standards with keeping our options open.
Right.
It's two totally different things. You don't lower your standards by somebody who, like you said, doesn't appreciate you and doesn't celebrate you and, you know, encourage you and all that other good stuff. But women need to hear that women like you live normal lives, have
really,
normal experiences.
I'm as normal as they come. I am East Cleveland all day long. Anybody that's met me or talks to me knows that, though. Like, I don't put on any airs. I don't have any airs to put on. I don't even know how to be shishi poo poo. I don't even know how to do that. And I don't traffic in fame in the same way that I don't traffic in beauty or any of that crap. I don't even think of myself as famous. I have no desire to be famous. I got stuff to do. And if you're thinking you're highfalutin, you're not going to be available for God to use you because you're too busy with your nose in the air. You know what I mean? I'm as regular as they come. I go to the grocery store. I pump my own gas. If you see me out, say hello. I will say hello back. I'm just a regular person that happens to make my living in entertainment, which is a ridiculous blessing when you think about me just being a kid from East Cleveland. Like, I don't even know how I'm able to have a career in this business. So I'm very grateful. And I don't think I'm special. I don't think that I'm magically delicious or more important or more anything than anybody. I'm just a chick from East Cleveland that works in entertainment.
Yeah.
And thank God.
So how would you define beauty and loving me?
Beauty and loving myself?
Yes.
Beauty to me, 100% is kindness. You ever seen someone, doesn't matter what they look like on the outside, if they are kind, you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
You can see it in the way they carry themselves. You can see it in the way that they interact with people. I think that kindness, like sincere kindness from your soul, makes you gorgeous. No one is more beautiful than that. I believe extending grace to people makes you beautiful. There's a lot of things that happen in life that are painful or upsetting, but I have learned that most people, except for the evil and the wretched, most people are not trying to take you out. When something happens between you and a friend or a coworker or a loved one, most times they just didn't know that they had run afoul of something that you needed or wanted or desired. They're not trying to take you out. And so the ability to accept that and extend grace to someone makes you beautiful. So those two things, and also love and seeing the humanity of people in spite of their mess and loving them in spite of it, or loving them through it, I think shows beauty too. It's never the size of your hips or where your eyes are placed on your face. Those are really, for the most part, I know doctors can do amazing things, but for the most part, where your eyes are on your face is kind of what you got from your parents. There's nothing you can do about that. So worshiping and loving someone because their features or their body is put together in a way that is fetching, is dumb. You know what I mean? Like, I had a friend of mine, a male friend of mine, was talking about this girl, and he said, you know, she's beautiful on the outside, but she's also beautiful on the inside. And he said there was a guy who had tried to talk to some other girl, and he was like, she's fine. And my friend was like, well, go on, talk to her then. You're gonna find out in a minute that she ain't fine. She's fine.
Yes.
She ain't fine, you know. And he was like, I gotta find me somebody that, I want her to be pretty on the outside, that's lovely, but you know, I need her heart to be fine. That soul is gorgeous. That's what you really want to find in a friend or a loved one.
Absolutely. And it goes a very long way. You know, in the high school days, you always have the popular people versus who we consider regular people or the nerds. You know, everybody's categorized in high school. What would you say to high school Yvette based on what you know now?
You know, the funny thing is, high school Yvette is the same as grown up Yvette, is the same as elementary school Yvette. I always thought popularity was dumb. I always thought, you know, now I say fame is vapor. When I was in junior high and high school, I knew that popularity was vapor. I remember talking to my best friend Janine, who I'm still best friends. We've been best friends since we were 10. We took a look at the people that had decided that they were special and had decided that others were not. And I remember it hit me like, well, why do they get to decide?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do they get to look at everybody and go, you belong here and you belong there? I was like, I'm gonna hang with the misfits and the people with the acne and the braces and the misshaped bodies. And we're gonna be the cool kids, but we're gonna be cool because we're gonna let everybody hang with us. Like, it's not gonna be an exclusive club, it's gonna be an inclusive club. And so all through high school and junior high, I rolled with everybody. Anybody that wanted to hang could hang. And by the end, the popular people had to come to us because their numbers were diminishing. It was like 2 of them left judging people. So they had to let that stuff go and come on over with the rest of us and realize that we're all in this together. So I've never bought into the lie that because your hair is a certain way or you're a certain height, or I just think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. And a lot of times the popular people were mean. And I'm like, how they the better people when they're hateful? That don't even make
and they had the lowest self-esteem.
You have to have low self-esteem to be mean to people. Ain't no mean person on this planet that got high self-esteem. Because if you loved yourself, you'd love others. That's how God worked it out.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I mean, and once again, this is why I'm talking about these things. I have 3 daughters. My oldest, she'll be 20 next month. My second.
Let me tell you about melanin. Let me just tell you. Melanin is a preservative. Okay, children, it preserves, it hides, and it go on 20. Go on with it.
Yeah. How many hours do you have available today? But big thank you.
Yes.
But being a mom of 3 girls, having a soon-to-be 20-year-old, soon-to-be 19-year-old, then I have my baby girl who will be 13. And all 4 of my kids, my oldest 3, high yellow. My baby girl, dark as night, and I made it a point with all of my girls so that they can understand that the tone of your skin is not what makes you special.
No, it's not.
And I would have to stop people, even family, when they, and you know how we do within our community when we make comments about hair texture.
I do.
And we make comments about, I didn't play it as a kid.
That's right.
And I was light bright as a kid. And I was always a fighter for the underdog.
Yes.
So I wasn't having it. You don't say anything about my big sister. You don't say anything. Look, I was yay big. I beat them all day. You couldn't tell me nothing. My mouth was bigger than my body. But I wasn't having it. And I teach my girls the same thing. And I always say, I can't encourage any women or any girls if I don't start at home.
That's right.
And I had an interview with Jane Elliott a few months back. Yes. Oh, she's fabulous. Awesome. Yes.
Jane
Elliott,
she gets it at a level that most people do.
Very few, even ones that look like us.
Come on.
Very few understand. And I remember sharing with her about my daughter, Sydney. Sydney was about 4 or 5 years old. And I remember her coming to me, basically telling me that she didn't think that she was beautiful. And the reason why she didn't think that she was beautiful is because of the color of her skin.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because anybody know me, I'm down all day, not my baby, but we don't realize that regardless of what we teach our children, they still have to live in this world.
Yes, they do.
And what I didn't realize is the narrative that I was reinforcing by buying her a bunch of, like the Disney, the princess, and who they're beautiful, but we buy into Disney, but we don't understand what we're doing to our daughters because we're telling them this is the only standard of beauty.
Right.
And so I was able to show her a Elecwick. I don't know if you know who a Elecwick is.
Yes, I do know who a Elecwick is. That beautiful melanated skin. Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh. So, immediately that's what came to mind to show her a picture of a Elecwick. And I asked her, I said, is she beautiful? And she said, yes, ma'am. And so I started pulling up other, as dark as I could find them.
Yeah.
I asked, is she beautiful? Yes, ma'am. And then we kind of started this chocolate princess story. So every night I would tell her a chocolate princess story and she would be the star of the story.
Yeah.
And so now you can't tell her nothing because She all right about herself right about
Good.
now. But
But you
we
know
do.
what, too? Let me say this though. Don't beat yourself up because you gave her dolls that were in the store to buy, right? That is not the thing that made her doubt whether she was beautiful because she's brown skinned. Society does
Yes.
that. Just everywhere she goes, every billboard she sees, every magazine she sees in a grocery store. So I can't let you take that on yourself. Your mama doing the best you can.
Yeah.
We're fighting systemic racism. We're fighting this cloud that hangs over all of us from birth that tells us that we're not enough, whether we are light bright to the darkest brown. We are told that we don't matter, that our lives don't matter, that we're thugs, that we're ugly. So that's something that's in this society that
Yes.
we all have to claw our way from. So I can't let you hold on to too much
No,
of that.
I appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, can't do
Oh,
it.
I took it really hard. I mean,
Yeah, you can't do that.
I'm at a better place with it
Yeah,
now. But you know, as a mom, you know, how have I failed? Going through,
yeah,
and I did not in any way disparage those things as far as the
right,
Disney princesses, because what Hello Beautiful is not about Black women.
right,
It's not about white women. It's
right.
not about brown women, green
Mhm.
women. It's about women.
That's right.
It's about women in general. And so, what I want my children to understand, especially my daughters, is
Mhm.
you are beautiful because God designed you in beauty,
That's right.
regardless of what your hue is. You know, that's not a penalty, that's
Mhm.
not anything that makes you less than. I
Right.
struggle with that term minority. I've struggled with that many
Mm.
years because I understand what people mean when they say, you know, we're minorities. But, you know, for me, scripturally speaking, life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yes, it is.
And minority to me speaks less than. And
Yeah,
I am not less than. I
that's
know
right.
what they mean
Right.
semantically, but still, yeah,
Yeah,
I struggle with some words in our lexicon that
I hear you.
we adopt because, you know, we have to call it a thing. You
Yeah.
know, I get it. But I want my daughters to be able to look in the mirror when no one else is looking and know that they're beautiful,
Yeah.
not from arrogance,
Yep.
but from a place of understanding who it was that they
That made them
designed,
fearfully and
were
wonderfully
designed
made.
in his image.
That's
For
right.
those of us that believe in who he is, we were
Yeah.
designed in his.
Woo!
Yes, yes,
Yes, I
yes,
felt that
and
one in my spirit. Yes.
yes. That is the goal of Hello Beautiful, and
Mhm.
in talking to people like you about this because it does resonate. I can tell it to people in my circles. I
Yeah.
can tell it to people that I go to church with, and you know,
Mhm.
but for just your everyday average person that sees you on TV, whether it be Drake and Josh or the Big
Uh-huh.
Fifty or Community or the 10,000 places we see your face, and like I said, you're probably one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood because you're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I feel like in the pandemic I've been even more everywhere because I can do it all from my house.
Yeah.
So where before if you wanted to be on the View, you had to fly to New York. I can do it from my office where I'm sitting right now. So it feels like I've been bouncing, and I feel like people will tell me when they've had enough. I feel
Yeah.
like my Twitter be like, "Now Yvette, now listen." Your
Well, I
Twitter.
don't think that's happening no time soon.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I'm open. Send the tweet when it's a little bit too much. Go on, send the tweet.
Absolutely. Now, I know you supported, but just kind of shift just a little bit. You
Mhm.
supported Elizabeth Warren. When
I Yes, I actually, if you go back, I supported Julian Castro, Kamala Harris, and Elizabeth Warren. Those are my three.
yes,
By the time it was time to vote, Elizabeth was the only one still running.
wow,
So all of my support went to her. But I want to make sure it's clear that I loved those three the entire time and will support and follow those three wherever they go and whatever they do.
yes.
In
And that's and actually that brings a greater point because I was
Mhm.
actually going to mention Kamala Harris because I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you because I know how I felt as a woman.
Yeah.
Even when Hillary Clinton, you know, was in the race, when you, and we're just talking about being a woman and
Yeah.
what that means.
Yeah.
We understand the politics of
We
it.
do.
We understand all that stuff that is just a part of our culture.
Mhm.
But listening to people like Elizabeth Warren
Mhm.
and listening to, you know, the types of things that she talked about, the
Yeah.
types of things that she introduced, what do you think her candidacy meant for women in general?
You know, the reason I loved Elizabeth Warren so much, because I also was she was the one that I was able to actually go out on the stump for. I went to Vegas for her when she right before the primaries there. So I got to meet her. She said this about Joe Biden once she dropped out of the race. She said, Joe Biden is exactly who he appears to be. Yeah. And I will say that Elizabeth Warren is exactly who she appears to be. And that for me is refreshing in the political space, because like you talk about the facade that even performers put up where they pretend, and what you see on TV may not be what you see. I can say that what you see of Elizabeth Warren is exactly who you meet, and my discernment is on fleek. So if she was trying to do something a little crazy, I'd be able to see it. What I loved about her, Julian, and Kamala, who is my soror, and I'm so happy she's the vice presidential candidate and will hopefully be our vice president, is that what the three of them started with is they love people. They care about people. They want the best for people. They all came about it from different ways as to how to do it, what they wanted to do, but they all started from the place of, this can be better for you, and I want to figure out a way to make it better for you. Yes. And the three of them, I think, out of everyone that ran, the three of them are the ones that are still actively every day still coming up with ideas and plans and fighting for ways. Julian has a new podcast he's doing. We know Kamala's about to be in that White House, and we're going to paint it pink and green. Yes. Elizabeth has the Warren Democrats, where she's not only, she set her candidacy aside, but she's now trying to push forward different Democrats that can do great things, because the goal, again, for the three of them is, let's make it better. Let's make it better. And so, I think that the candidacy, I remember when Elizabeth would talk to little girls, she would do the pinky promise. Yes. And Kamala did the same thing. Kamala would get down at the level with the girls, and she would look at them in their face, and she would talk to them about what it means to be a woman and why am I running. And I think that just like when your daughter needing to see herself in her Disney princess, there are little girls that want to be leaders, and they have to see that woman in front of them. They have to see the signs that say Kamala for the people. There has to be something that we can touch to realize that it's possible for us. And that for me was what I loved even about Hillary Clinton's candidacy, the idea of, I'm with her, where we had someone that we could go, I'm going all the way with her. I believe in her. And whoever the her is what's great about it. Whoever the her is, finding a woman that speaks in the way that you believe and wants to do the things that you want to do, and she wants to do it for everybody, because we all know women, we are multitaskers, and we don't just look for the greater good for us. We look for the greater good of everyone, especially Black women. That's why we are so blessed to have Kamala. It's like we see beyond the yuck and the muck and the mire, and we fish through and go, now here's the pearl. Here's that one thing, and I'm gonna work on this one thing until we can build ourselves a pearl necklace. And we're gonna go on and work on the coat, and you know what I mean. It's just that type of ability that I think women inherently have. So those two amazing women and Julian were the ones that I was like, come on, y'all, we can do this.
Yes. Do this. Oh, and I'm with you. I remember when Hillary Clinton was running against President Obama, and I remember she had a moment where she had gotten really emotional, and she had said, I found my voice. And the media ripped her to shreds. Hillary Clinton crying, and I have a problem. Now, I'm about as tough as they come. I'll take stuff from nobody. I don't have a problem speaking up. But I want people to understand that there are so many facets to women, and being emotional, that's not anything that we should have, be ashamed of.
I agree.
Being able to feel what we feel. We are not designed like men. Men and women are different. That's not saying one is better than the other, but I don't have to burn my bra in order to stand up and do what I got to do and still be heard and have my voice heard. There were a lot of things that I didn't, I'll say this. There were some things that I didn't agree with in terms of decisions President Obama made, but I will tell you this, 100%, the same thing that you say about Kamala and the same thing that you say about Elizabeth Warren, there's just that certain something. Yeah. I will speak for myself when I say there is not a thing or a time, and people may not like me saying it, but oh well, but just like President Obama, I believe his sincerity in
Mm-hmm.
wanting the best for this country.
I agree.
I believe his sincerity in wanting to make the country better, wanting to make,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of all of the stuff and the
Right.
fluff. I get the politics part of it. I
Right.
get, I don't know what it's like to be president. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what it's like to be vice president, but I do understand, like I said, the politics and all other good
Yeah.
stuff. So when I see, when I think of a Hillary Clinton and when I
Mm-hmm.
think of an Elizabeth Warren and when I think of a Kamala Harris, I can find myself in all of those women.
Yeah.
I can find I don't even have to agree with every single thing
Yeah.
that they stand for.
Yeah.
But I can applaud these women for standing up saying, hey, you know what? Here I am, deal with it.
Yeah.
This
What's
is what
funny?
I'm fighting for.
I'll go a step further. I'm affiliated with Emily's List, and they're a great organization that helps progressive Democratic women get elected. And I interviewed Senator Warren, Senator Harris, Senator Gillibrand, and Senator Klobuchar right before Kamala was chosen. It was like maybe 2 weeks before Kamala was chosen. And it was just a celebratory. They had won an award for Emily's List, and it was a celebratory 10-minute conversation with each of them. And I can honestly say, even though, Kamala and Elizabeth were my choices, I could see wonderful things about Gillibrand and Klobuchar as well. And and I'd never met them. So it was my first time getting to talk to them. And like Klobuchar is the kind of chick you could go have a beer with. Like she's just a broad,
Yeah.
and Gillibrand explained white privilege in that interview in a way I have never heard a white person, maybe except Jane Elliott.
I
explain.
remember that. Yes.
And I was blown away by her. And I had a moment where I was like, dang, I wish she and Amy could have stayed in long enough for people to hear who they really were. Because when women run, they spend the first year trying to find their footing because they're getting attacked so much just because they're women. So they can't hit the ground running like men can and immediately get to what their policy is or immediately show who they are because they're fighting the woman thing for the first part of their candidacy. So just the fact that Elizabeth lasted as long as she did, that Hillary made it as far as she did, and in my opinion, won the election, had all the other shenanigans not happened.
Yes.
The fact that Kamala is, please Jesus, are going to be our next vice president. To get there, I had a friend of mine, I think it was Jason Johnson, said this on MSNBC the other day. He said Kamala is invincible at this point because she's Black and she's a woman. So whatever happens in the debates, whatever Trump throws her way, she has been beating that nonsense back her entire life.
Yes.
Her entire life. From the time she was born, people have not believed that she could do it. She's been second guessed. She's been called names. She's been called. There's nothing. And honestly, it's the same way I think Hillary was able to endure everything she endured. Now she's been in it forever. These women are tough as nails and also strong of heart.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's the difference, I think, when you look at these women. And that's why I pointed out that particular point, during that time when she had gotten emotional. And I'm scratching my head. My husband, I fuss at the TV all the time. And of course, at that time, I was supporting President Obama. But at that point, I was a woman. And in that moment, I was a woman. And I know how to differentiate. I don't hate anybody. I don't even hate President Trump. I know how to, I guess.
Better than me.
Yeah. Well, I know how to take the meat and throw away the bones.
Yeah.
But I also know that at the end of the day, what will be, but I know how to look at people as people. Yeah. And sometimes that's difficult, especially when people work your nerves and send you to that place. I won't say I don't go there, but the older I get. There. Yes.
You dip a toe in. You don't go in and take a swim. You just dip a toe.
Yes.
I swim. It's the only place I swim. I swim.
Look, I almost drowned a couple of times, and then I kind of pull myself back out.
But can I say this though about men and emotion?
Sure.
The funny thing about it is they always say that women are the emotional ones, and right? Come on. The only difference between us and men is that we are allowed to show the full range of our emotions. Yes. Men are allowed anger and I think I'm done. They're allowed to be mad, right?
Yep.
So every emotion that they feel gets funneled through anger. That's why they're always kind of a bull in a china. You know, I think if they cried more, maybe they'd be better in
Let
life.
me
Maybe
tell you.
life would be easier. Maybe there wouldn't
Yes.
be so many wars if they were actually allowed to feel the full range of
Yeah.
their emotions, you
They
know?
pent up.
Come on. Come on.
See, we're not pent up because we let it
No,
out.
we are free. We are free. We let
Yes.
it out. Yeah.
Yes. I think, I know working in corporate America
Mhm.
and working for the government, and when you're sitting in meetings and as women, we're sitting there constantly on guard, okay, well, I can't show how ticked
Mhm.
off
I am right now. Right.
going through that whole range of things. And that's what I think of when I see people like your Elizabeth Warrens and your Kamala
Mhm.
Harris's and your, and many more women. I'm just naming them because,
Yeah.
most recently politically in the spectrum. But we have to be able to find who we are
Right.
and not be defined by men,
That's right.
not be defined by society,
That's right.
not be defined by standards that were set by those popular people back in high school,
Mm.
right?
Right.
Because that's who we're dealing with when you really think about it. All of
Yeah.
these people that put these things into play and try to put us into certain categories and try to say, you know what, you fit this, you know what, no, you're a little bit too thick, so you
Right.
go over here, oh, you're razor thin, so this is,
Right. This is where you
you
belong.
need a hamburger, but no, but we're going to say this is perfection, So I know my struggle. I used to be very petite, very petite. And then, of course, as you get older,
Have babies. Come on now.
listen, I have learned to embrace every bit of
Listen.
me
You
and
better.
okay. And it really took me just stripping down, looking at her and
Mhm.
saying, you know what? Okay, health wise, yes, I can do this better. I can,
Right.
so you definitely want to be healthy,
Right.
but I'm not going to feel bad. So maybe 10 years ago, I could not have sat here like this with you,
Mhm.
because then I would have been worried about what I look like on camera.
Yeah.
And, my face looks a little bit fatter. And, if we
Mhm.
were in the coronavirus time where we're doing all these Zoom videos, I would have been mortified,
Mm.
because I was no longer that 110-pound. And
Mhm.
you get to a point when you grow and you look in the mirror and you just like, you know what, I'm okay.
Yeah, because this is the thing. I think with the pandemic more than anything, people are dying. Like
Yes.
people are literally, going to get groceries and 2 weeks later dying
Yes.
because of this. And they would love to have one more day even with thick thighs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or one more day with a chubby
Yes.
face. I think we've done ourselves a disservice by being so externally focused. We started the conversation with this. I don't think it matters how much I weigh, really.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter. It hasn't helped anybody. It hasn't saved anybody. It hasn't even saved me.
Right.
So why are we as a nation or even the world so focused on that to the detriment of our spirits and our souls?
Yeah.
Um, the people that, we're all in our little houses and our caves and we can't get around people. None of my friends have reached out and said, Yvette, I really want to see your nails.
Right.
Or I really, what I miss, Yvette? I miss that purse you carry. I really miss that purse. No, they miss me. They
Right.
miss hugging me. It's not whether they're hugging me at a size 14 or hugging me at a size 8. They don't care what
Absolutely.
size I am. And when I see them again, when we're able to come out, no one's going to shun a hug because someone has acne or
That's
because
right.
someone has on the wrong sneakers.
That's
It's
right.
literally going to be that human connection that people have been missing. And I hope that this time away, because the other beautiful thing that's happening right now, which I love, if you watch television and the news right now, all of the glamour is gone.
Yes.
You very rarely see a lash. It's nobody's contoured.
Right.
Everybody's hair is freshly washed and just hanging
Yep.
however it hangs, right? I think that we're being taught to be less focused on beauty right now. I
Right.
have not ever, in this whole time we've been in here, I haven't turned on MSNBC and go, well, why does Nicole Wallace look like that. I don't care what Nicole Wallace looks like. What is Nicole Wallace saying?
Absolutely.
What is Joy-Ann Reid saying? That is what feeds me. That's the manna from heaven in regards to what's going on in the world. How someone looks is no longer the issue. And I think that's going to be really great when I go back to my job as an actor. We're being told with COVID protocols and stuff that we might have to do our own makeup, or we might have to touch ourselves up. So our television shows are going to look a lot different. One of my, a woman I know who's on, I think, Young and the Restless, Michelle Stafford, posted a picture of herself on Instagram where her hair was like, ring, ring. And she said, I want to post this because this is what I look like today. And I want to let you guys know this was not done by our Emmy-winning hair people. This was me. And I just, no shade. I look how I look, but I just don't want, Sally or Mary for people to think that this is their work. But what I loved about it was, one, she made sure that she gave those people their due, and that's great. Absolutely. But the other thing is, she did her own hair on a soap opera, and no one died.
Right.
She wasn't perfect on a soap opera.
And got her paycheck. She's still working.
We still got our love in the afternoon. Like, everything went by just fine. It just wasn't as picture perfect. And guess what? It's okay.
Yes. But what is picture perfect? It's that narrative that's been sold to us. When I saw Regina Hall, I don't know if you saw that bit with Regina Hall and Kevin Hart with,
Kevin, I hear you. Kevin, that mess was so, Regina Hall, while we're here, let me just give her just a bouquet.
Yes.
She is one of the most underrated comedic actresses working in Hollywood right now. Regina Hall. And every time I see her, if I see her at an event or at a park, if I see her walking down the street, I'm just going to take a minute to tell you that you're brilliant. Everything you do is amazing. She's just amazing.
Naturally.
Just a fool. Yes. She is a natural fool.
Yes.
And gorgeous. And also a great actress, but her comedic ability.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, Regina Hall.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on her too. So if you can put a plug in for me.
Yes, I will. No, that'd be a good conversation too. She's lovely. And also, whenever you see her, like, as much as you compliment her and give her love, she gives it right back.
Yeah.
And compliments don't puff Regina up, they humble Regina, which shows you that she knows who she is, and she's grateful for the gifts that God gave her, and she's working it, but I don't think she's gotten her due in this industry.
I could not agree more.
I pray she gets it.
I play that piece over just to crack. I've seen it like 10 million times just because of her comedic timing.
She's a fool.
Oh my gosh.
She's a fool. She's a natural. Kevin, I can hear you. Kevin. Oh, that Regina Hall. Yeah, she's
love it. I mean, and just like yourself, I mean, I think certain people, I'll keep saying it, certain people have that certain thing that resonates on screen as well as off screen. And it's almost, even though we don't know you all personally, it's almost as if we do.
But you do, though. I think if you know me, like this, this is it. This is it. When I do interviews, this is it. And it's the same thing with Regina. Regina.
Yeah.
You do. Now, that ain't true for everybody.
That is true.
That ain't true for everybody. But you know me, and Regina. Yeah.
No. This is awesome. And this is what I was hoping for, was being able to sit down and just have girl talk.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Structured kind of, we can do the formalities and all that other fun thing, but
I mean, there's enough of the formalities. Tell us about your new show. Who cares? Like this, let's have a conversation about what really matters, and that's soul stuff. That's decency and kindness, and looking out for each other, and being our brother and our sister's keeper. I think that kind of got lost somewhere. I miss the feeling of having brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And we can get back there.
Well, you feel it now, because when you do have the opportunity, even though we all are kind of locked up at home, I know I have it. When I do see people that I know or that I'm familiar with, it's awkward not to hug. It's weird. Yeah. And you almost feel as though you're being ugly, not hugging.
I know.
It's weird.
It's so much about everything about this thing is very weird. I do think, though, as a person of faith, I have to believe, God doesn't make any mistakes. And there is a reason for this experience. I don't know what that reason is. I don't know what the lesson is going to be on the other side of it. But every day that I wake up and I'm still here and we're still in this thing, I have to believe that there's something that is going to be born or reborn in all of us because of this experience. It's something that I think God wants us to reconnect to. There's something that he placed in us that we lost a connection to, that we need to reconnect to. And I feel like this is a rebirth of things. It's definitely a rebirth of what really matters and what's really important. I think that we got lost for a minute. And sometimes to get somebody back, you can't just tap on the shoulder. You got to completely deconstruct all of it. And I think it's all being deconstructed. And on the other side of it, we're just going to be stronger as a people and as a nation. I pray.
Yeah, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. So I guess in kind of wrapping up, what would you like to say to our women and girls if you could give them any type of Yvette Nicole Brown encouragement, inspiration, motivation?
I think what I would want to say, I know what I would want to say is no one else gets to decide your worth. No one else gets to decide your beauty. No one else gets to decide your intellect. You get to decide those things. Do not give away the power to anyone else. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's boyfriend. I don't care if it's best friend. No one else gets to tell you who you are and what your trajectory in this life will be. You alone get to decide it. And as you give yourself the gift of believing that the sky's the limit, pay it forward and give your friends and family members that same gift and remind them that no one gets to decide for them where they're going to be and what they're going to do. And the thing is, it's just one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is despise not small beginnings. Mm-hmm. Even the mightiest oak tree on the planet began as a little seed in some dirt, right? And it didn't know it was about to be the biggest and tallest and strongest and most amazing thing. And so the same will be true for everything good that happens in your life. It's going to start with a little bitty seed, and it's probably going to be some dirt on it because somebody done threw some dirt on it, right? So instead of letting that dirt be the thing that buries you, let it be the fuel and the food that helps you grow into that mighty thing you're supposed to be. Despise not small beginnings. Go on, be that seed in the ground and go on grow. Go on grow.
Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, what I always like to end with is a word association.
Yeah.
So you tell me what pops up into mind.
Okay.
As I call out a few things.
Okay.
To you.
I'm ready.
I will start Harley.
Love of my life.
Beautiful. Spiders.
Useful. They kill other insects. They're useful. They're scary, but they're useful.
Yes. Shirley.
Ooh. Blessing.
Aww. Community.
Oh, gosh. Friendship.
Freedom.
I'm still friends with them. Freedom. Christ.
Family.
Acceptance.
Unshakable.
My faith.
Black.
Beautiful.
Beauty.
Black. No, I'm kidding. Beauty. Internal.
I was expecting you to say that, by the way.
Yeah. Internal and eternal.
Beautiful. And the most important one, Yvette.
Kind.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
You are fabulous.
Oh, so are you. I had a great time talking to you. Great interviewer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
I heard the Lord say you're going to talk to her. Go on, tell, hey, hello, beautiful, that you did hello.
I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do for women, what you do for Hollywood. You know, I appreciate you putting a speck of color on Hollywood, letting them know we are here.
We are.
We've always been here.
Always.
To them to recognize it.
That's right.
And I pray you every bit of success spiritually and naturally, that you may continue to grow. I pray that love finds you, the right love.
Please, Jesus.
Listen, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
Come on, get your
So
good thing.
you just be the good thing. That'll be your light, or as my son said, your bright light.
Bright light, yeah.
That he may find it. So I pray you well. Thank you again. And
thank you.
Hopefully maybe at some later time we'll get to do this again.
We definitely will. You let me know. I mean, after you get through all the people you got on the list, I know you got a whole bunch of people on the list. I'll come around on the next one. I'll come right on back. I sure will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Tell the kids I said hi.
I sure will. And tell Aisha I said thank you.
I will. Thank you, honey. Bye.
Bye-bye.